Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my Cedar Point Recreation Park. In the last episode we worked a bunch on building out the marina a bit more, building out more of the stuff on the coastlines, maintenance stuff. Today we're going to continue working on it because I am not nearly as done with it as I thought I was. Seems to be the growing trend as I continue along here, that the longer I look at the park, the more stuff I find that I have left to do that I forgot about, or just neglected to look at. For example, you left a lot of the Marina building and famous Dave's building over here undone. So we got to fill in some of that stuff. And basically just kind of filling in some gaps, adding in a bunch more details over here in this area. We've got some parking lots to do, some little decorations back here. I definitely didn't expect this area to take me nearly as long to complete when I started it. But I suppose if you go and actually look at comparing the size of the marina and the coastline over here compared to the rest of the park, it is really quite a huge area. And I just kind of underestimated how long it would take to get through all the stuff over here. Even though there's no rides, nothing I need to worry about with peeps or anything, it's still quite a lot of just plain surface area that needs attention. Parking lots, these building structures, foliage, pathways. Even if it's not being officially used in the game, we still have to build it. One thing you may or may not notice compared to last episode is that I did in fact raise the water level as I was mentioning that I was thinking about doing. So it's a little bit less awkward looking now here between the surface and the water. We had to spend a little bit of time sculpting some of the beach on the other side of the park. Not a really big deal though. Definitely wasn't as much work as I was afraid it might have been. And we had to raise all the boats out of the water by a couple units. A little bit tedious, but not too difficult with the scenery manager. So that worked out really well. I'm glad I did it. I think it was worth the effort. Hopefully it will help make this whole area look a little bit less weird, just looking at the coastline. Yeah, as I mentioned, even though I'm kind of filling in the gaps here in this episode, still doing a lot of off-camera work to clean up some other things around the rest of the park. For example, there's a lot of new detail over on the Lighthouse Point area. Did some work on the coastline. Smoothed out some path, added some foliage, things like that. It's looking pretty nice over there. Unfortunately, I don't show it off in this episode, but hopefully you'll see it soon enough. A lot of the same stuff going on over here on the south side of the peninsula today. As I always say, there's a lot of trade-off between making something look realistic and looking good. A lot of this area is kind of plain and just bare swaths of grass, especially where they recently tore down that hotel area. So I'm definitely going to be adding in some decorations over there that don't exist in real life. Some more foliage, things like that, just to keep it looking lively. Things are definitely starting to shape up over here. It's been a struggle getting the Valraven entrance to look decent though. You might notice I'm having a lot of trouble with peep path finding due to all the weird proxy path I have down here. Not sure why it's causing me so many issues, especially around the actual entrance tile itself. Hopefully we'll figure that out eventually. One thing that has been really nice with OpenRCT2 has been making these parking lots. I've been doing a lot of them lately. You'll see a lot of them being built in this episode, filling out a lot of cars here. And being able to use plugins to make the cars look a lot more different has been really helpful. I'm using the Traffic Manager plugin I wrote myself here to make my cars have a little bit more diversity in appearance, which saves me so much time rather than trying to do them all by hand. It's been really nice. We still don't have a plugin to automatically place the vehicles in the parking spots, so I still have to do that by hand, but I'll take what I can get at this point. It still saves me so much time, so the Traffic Manager and Vehicle Editor plugins are really coming in handy. I probably wouldn't even be bothering to put cars in the parking lots at all if I didn't have the plugins handy, because it's just so much effort. I'm also spending a bit of time sculpting Perimeter Road in this episode. I've been trying to figure out a good look and feel for my roads in the park, and it's really difficult with non-custom scenery and with the amount of space that I have left for myself. I only have so many options for building roads that are diagonal or slightly curvy. And I've looked at a few different options. There were a couple different things that I had tried out. Saw a really good design, for example, from Jens J that looked really great. It had a nice curvy appearance with some monorail track sidewalls and everything. It looked really nice, but ultimately I thought it was a bit too wide. Didn't have enough space for it, especially when you got around to the back of the park. So I'm sticking with the relatively basic road design I have here. There's still going to be enough room to put down some moving traffic in here later. But I didn't want the road to stand out too much, take up too much attention. It's just here to be practical and not necessarily to look really great. And I think once we finish up the coastline a bit more, get some more decoration in here, it's definitely going to help this area look a little bit nicer, rather than just having this plain street in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, I think that's about going to do it for today. Like I said, not a ton of exciting stuff going on in this episode. We're getting to the point where it's just a lot of detail work, filling in the corners. We finished a lot of the more exciting builds a very long time ago, and now it's just a matter of getting the rest of the park up to scratch when it comes to decorations and things. And it's been pretty slow going, because this detail work is, as I always say, it's kind of tedious to do. A lot of busy work. We are still pretty close to the end, but there's still a lot more to do, a lot more stuff I want to do off camera to help clean this up. Get this whole park out the door a little faster. But don't worry, if you love parking lots, there's still more of that to come here too. We've got a big area back near Gemini that hasn't been done yet, so look forward to that coming up, I guess. But in the meantime, hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, if you've got any comments, questions, or suggestions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.